It was, like I said, it was a culture shock, you know, and people were always interested in getting to know who I was. It was like, you know, you're African, are you a princess? You know, and things like that. I said, yes, I am.
Certainly you are, and you look very beautiful, I must say.
Yeah, I was like, yes, I am in my family because we're from Jamestown, Accra. We, you know, the chief is my uncle, you know. So I'm like, yes, I am a princess. And, you know, they get, you know, like, so what is Africa like? Then we always have the ignorant people. Like, do you sleep on a tree? And I'm like, well, my house is bigger than this whole school. Like,
Serious.
how about that?
Exactly.
You know, so, you know, you teach them and you learn from them. And that's how we went about. And, you know, I became popular really fast because I ran. I was a runner. I was a track runner. So that helped a bit with the teasing, you know. So.
And being a track runner, maybe that should be where I should launch into the discussion of lupus. And I am just reading in one of the papers, it was reported in the United States of America, that at age 16, something happened to you whilst you were running.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, it was events after events that led to it. But at the age of 16, you know, I had a promising future as a track runner, you know, and as time was going on, I'll get these injuries that wouldn't heal, and I would be extremely tired even if I haven't practiced, because we practice 6 days a week. Sundays we're off. And I'll be just extremely tired. And my mother was like, well, we need to find out why. And after we went, the doctor was like, I'm anemic. Because not only was I running track, I was also a modern dancer. You know, it's a mix of ballet and modern African dance and things like that. So it was like, maybe I'm too active.
Sorry, but are you still able to do a bit of that?
A bit, but not as much. Not as much. I still can move. I could azonto and everything, you know?
I see. That's good. Okay, so tell me that story.
Yeah, so you know, I left dancing a bit, and I just, because track is my passion. I love to run. Like, one of my biggest dreams was to be like Flojo.
Oh, I see.
But, you know, it just never happened that way. So I gave that up, and I would still continue running. I would still get these injuries that wouldn't go away. And my mom just constantly kept taking me to the doctor. Oh, she's anemic. Give her some more iron. Then it was the changing of events is I was running for Miss Teen New Jersey, 1999. I made state finalist. And like a couple of weeks to when it was supposed to happen, my hair started falling out. And I screamed, like, you know, going to comb my hair, and I just saw clumps in my hand, and my mom was like, Nala, like, calm down, Ibahi, you know, that type of, so I was like, so my mom was like, let's see what's going on. Because
And by this time, you had been to several doctors? And
mostly my primary doctor.
And the prognosis was that, the diagnosis was that you're anemic.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just kept continuing, and my mom was like, something's wrong again. You know, I've always had a love for science. When I was a child, my uncle, who's a doctor, I used to catch little chickens and try to cut them up. And he was like, she's going to be a surgeon.
You must have been an interesting kid.
Yes, I was. Interesting and very inquisitive. It was like, I talk. So every time my report card would come, because I'll read my report cards from Ghana, it was like talkative. Talkative. So it was like, she's going to be a surgeon. But, you know, I always love things about health. And you know, so at that time, after I left the 5th grade, I was put into a special school for science. So, you know, with the background that I have, and I'm always researching, reading about diseases and things like that, I've always been into that. So since they kept telling me I'm anemic, so I was like, well, my hair is falling out. What about leukemia? Can you check for that? And it was like, oh, okay, we'll do that. You don't have leukemia. So then I was like, what about Lyme disease. We train in the woods, the forest sometimes for cross country. Cause even though I was a short sprint, my coach always made me run long distance to get stamina. So during the fall seasons, we run in the forest and things like that. So I was like, maybe a tick bit me, and now I have Lyme disease. It was like, no, it's not that. So I'm like, but what is wrong with me? Because now people were telling me I'm lazy. There's nothing wrong with you.
And at this stage you were, excuse me, quote unquote, deteriorating a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, you know, I was the anchor. Without me, they can't finish a race. You know, 4x4, 4x2, 4x1. And always, something is always wrong with Judith. Like, you know, you're being lazy, there's nothing wrong with you. Just stop pretending. You don't look sick. I hated that word because I knew.
When was the very final diagnosis made, examination made, and the revelation was made to you that, nah, stop here, you got lupus?
Reason why I hate Halloween is this celebration they have in America where
Halloween.
Ghosts and things like that. Halloween night was my death night. My mother carried me to the hospital. When she would tell me, she says, my eyes were white. And I had a fever, 105, 103, 105. I was sent to the emergency room. And when I walked in there, the doctor was like, geez, this girl is a walking dead. I'm surprised she even walked in here. Because at that time, the anemia, I had a blood count of 4, where a normal person should be 13, 10, you know. I was 4.
That's deadly.
Yeah, deadly. The walking dead. I later became the walking miracle. But blood count of 4, and it was like, geez, this girl needs a blood transfusion. But, you know, for spiritual reasons, I don't want that. My mother didn't want that either. And it was like, well, you know, we need to put her in bed. And for about a week. And they also said I was very dehydrated. And my mom was like, that's impossible. I gave her bottles and bottles of water before I carried her in here. So, you know, right away they put a drip on me and things like that, and IV, and they put me on ward. And every day, being in the hospital for that 1 week was very painful, because every day team of doctors would come in and try to draw blood. And at this time, I have a blood count of 4, so could you imagine drawing blood? And I have tiny veins. And it was painful. Every time I saw them, because it would be like 5, 6, 7 each day, just come in, drawing all types of, I'm like, what, you know? They tried everything. And I would cry. I would be like, the vampires are coming. They're coming from my blood, you know? And they was like, well, we don't know what's wrong with your daughter. We've tried everything. Sickle cell, because I'm black. Thyroid, because I'm black. You know, everything that usually affects black people. But at that time, I started to get these butterfly rashes on my face, and my arms, and things like that. And they still hadn't found out what was wrong with her. It was like, we have to send her home because we don't know what to, you know, treat her with. We don't know. And one day, one of the nurses was drawing blood, and my needle got stuck to her, and she's freaked out. Like, we don't know what's wrong with this girl, and, you know, she has all these breakouts on her skin. What's really wrong with her? So it was like,
you are at a point of death.
Yeah.
And the diagnosis, very dangerous, unable to tell what exactly is wrong with you.
Yeah.
That compounds the situation.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind at that point in time?
So when my needle got stuck to her, she freaked out, and they were requesting for an HIV test. And I'm like, HIV? I don't even have time for boys. My house is books, 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 books. Okay. You know, so like, what are you talking about? I don't even have any more blood in my vein for you to draw that type of, you know, test. So they sent me home or whatever. And then my doctor called. It's like, we have 2 more tests to run. And I said,
2 more tests to run on you to be able to come to that conclusion that now had lupus.
Yeah.
Now, 2 more diagnoses,
Yeah.
and you're told that you have lupus.
Yeah.
How does that come to you? And anyway, what is lupus? By that time, what did you know about it?
Well, it was like, we have 2 more tests, HIV and lupus. And I tell you, these people and this HIV again. And I was like, you know what? I would take it just to give that nurse a peace of mind. So they were able to get blood. And the test came HIV negative, of course, and lupus. So I said, thank God. Finally something. I can get some medicine so I could stop feeling so crappy every day.
But at this time, you knew nothing about it.
I knew nothing. So I was like, so what's next? It was like medication. It was like, oh, your face will be round a bit. So I was like, okay. You know, I have, you know, puffy cheeks anyway, so okay. But it was a new journey.
I was telling you about that, your photograph I saw in the paper. Yes, your face looked a bit more rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they told me. It would be more rounded, and that's about it. But the treatment.
And what was that?
I went through so many changes being on medication that sometimes I even wonder which one is worse, the disease or the treatment itself. It was quite difficult.
Okay. So now let's talk about the disease lupus. What is it?
Well, lupus is a disease where your own body attacks itself. It attacks healthy tissues. Our bodies are made, God made us wonderful, and He made us that if a disease was to attack, right away we will be able to fight it off, even without medication. But in the case of lupus, your body doesn't recognize its own cells, and it starts to attack. Your body is overactive. It's doing too much. So in the case of lupus, your body will start to attack healthy cell tissue, and the outcome is the fevers, the hair loss, the anemia. Some people get seizures. It's different for everybody, the symptoms that everybody get. Some people get anorexia, they can't eat.
Is that what explains why it is referred to as is it autoimmune disease?
Yeah, autoimmune.
So that your own, is it the cells attack?
Yeah, see, this is, our body is made that if something alarming comes in, there's a group of cells. I'll speak in plain English because you know the viewers are not biologists.
That's most
and
important.
Things. Yeah.
That's important.
Your cells get a signal. Hey, there's a cold coming in. So the helper T cells will call the fighter T cells, and the fighter T cells will be like, let's group up and fight this thing off. But in the case of lupus, your own cell becomes confused that this is not a cold. This is actually Judith
against itself.
Yeah. It just, like, it no longer recognizes that it's Judith, or it no longer recognizes that it's Samson. And it start to attack Samson. You understand what I'm saying?
I want to do a comparison. How dangerous then, comparatively, is lupus with HIV? Because HIV/AIDS, we know that your immune system becomes very weak, it's unable to fight disease. But here, you have your own system fighting against itself. Yeah,
it's overactive and it's doing too much. It's protecting you too much. That's the best way to put it. Your immune system is too good for you. It's protecting you too much. It's overactive. It's doing too much. That is, it's fighting when it doesn't need to be, you know, fighting.
And what is the physical manifestation of that that reaction? Hyper, you know, reactive, you know, thing that goes on in your body. What is the manifestation? What happens?
Your joints ache. Like I was telling you about, you know, having injuries and it not going away. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be so sore. I'll get these unexplainable fevers. I lost appetite. I couldn't eat. Like everything tasted like cardboard
Wow.
to me.